Well, the topic is, which of these 4 cartoons from the 80s is best? There's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, Thundercats, and He-Man. Lan, if you had to pick one, which one you picking?
Out of the 4, all those choices are amazing. But I think I'd have to go with Transformers. And I think the reason why is because, well, for all of them, all of the toys were really good, right? And that's what pretty much all 4 of those cartoons were for. They were marketing shows to sell toys.
Ooh, and I actually have a really interesting fact about He-Man that I'm going to get to here in a couple of minutes that has to do with that whole marketing thing when it comes to toys, because I think He-Man was really the first one where it was a show specifically designed to sell the toys. But I put the poll up on YouTube. I also put this up on Instagram. And so the results were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 58%, Transformers, 22%, Thundercats, 10%, and He-Man, 10%.
Wait, what was the top one again?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I think that's the one that most even later kids know, though, right?
Yeah, because it's still, I think it's more relevant as a cartoon because they're still making the cartoon. I know they've tried to reboot Thundercats. I know they've tried to reboot He-Man. I know there's been newer versions of Transformers, but I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in general has a little bit more staying power, even though there's the whole series of movies with Transformers. Okay, so question for you. In regards to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which had 58% of the vote, do you know the origins of April O'Neil not the origins of how they created the character, but the origins of April O'Neil?
Besides the fact that she was a news reporter?
Yes.
If I remember correctly, she came from like a small Midwest town. She went to the big city, became a hooker for a little bit. And then she got into stripping, and then she got into porn after that, and then that's how she became a newscaster.
It's quite the interesting career path. In the comics, apparently, she's not even actually human.
Which comic books are you talking about?
I think it was the original comics, I believe.
The Eastman and Laird comic books or the Archie comic book?
The Eastman and Larry.
Okay.
Where she was created using a magic pen, and her, quote, father drew her as like a version of what an ideal daughter should look like, and she came to life from that.
She's like Pinocchio.
Kinda. She came to real life. All right, Transformers, coming in at 22%. Can you name the man who voiced Optimus Prime?
Peter Cullen.
There you go. Peter Cullen was the man's name. Did you know that he also voiced another really famous cartoon character that you know? Not from Transformers.
Yeah, he's done a lot of big voice acting. Like so much that it's hard for me to place it.
So there's one that is very opposite of Optimus Prime. He voiced Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh. Now, we're not talking the original 1977, The Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, you know, the one that most people know. But he voiced Eeyore throughout a whole lot of the Disney adaptations, including The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which ran from 1988 to 1991. So he was a busy guy there.
Yeah.
Also, did you know, obviously Transformers the movie, can you name some of the characters who died in that movie?
Optimus Prime, obviously.
That's the big one.
Megatron.
Starscream.
Ironhide. Starscream.
Ratchet.
Ratchet. A lot of kids got dropped into that big vat. That cartoon was very traumatizing.
Yes. Okay. Do you know why they killed off those characters?
Because they needed to introduce new toys.
Yep. Hasbro. They were going to discontinue those toys. So they kind of used the movie to cleanse the palate and be like, look, we're just going to get rid of these guys. And now we're going to introduce a whole new slew of toys with Transformers. All right. Moving on to Thunder. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so just everybody think about that. Like, you know, this cartoon that everybody thought was so great was just made to make you buy more shit.
Oh, yes. Just wait. When we get to He-Man, we're going to cover that. Thundercats. They got 10% of the vote. Do you know what Snarf's real name is?
Snarfalophagus?
No. His species is Snarf. His real name is Osbert. Osbert. Osbert.
You say like Jim. His name's Jim.
His name's Jim. And do you know what Lion-O's original name was going to be?
Lioness?
Oh, you're on the right path. It starts with lion. It was going to be lion, but instead of an O at the end, it was going to be an L. But it was changed because it was really close to like
Lionel,
but yeah, like Lionel Trains. And they were afraid they were going to get sued by Lionel Trains, so they changed it to Lion-O.
Oh, I liked Lionel Messi.
Who lost against Saudi Arabia? All right, final one. He-Man, here's your fun fact. We all know that the show was basically created to sell toys, but that was not the original idea. Mattel's marketing director, Mark Ellis, had DC Comics create a He-Man comic book to go along with the toy line. He then pitched the idea to Toys R Us, but they countered with, 5-year-olds don't read. So he bluffed in that meeting and responded with, well, did I tell you about the 2 one-hour TV specials that we were running? Or we are going to run? But there was no specials. They had not created anything yet. So he had to scramble to find a studio. Hanna-Barbera, they were a no-go. But he ended up talking to Filmation. Those are the ones who ended up making the series. But there was one change. They fired back with, instead of the specials, we're going to make this a full series. And hence, He-Man, the show, was born. And there's another character. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, for anybody also interested in the He-Man lore and stuff like that, there's a great book that Dark Horse put out about the background and all that kind of stuff about He-Man.
Like how
it's a really, really good book.
Oh, so it covers the sort of the history of He-Man, not necessarily the He-Man storyline, or yes, the He-Man storyline?
No, not the He-Man storyline, about like
how it was created.
The toys, yeah, how it was created and all that kind of stuff.
God, I had all of those, man. Those were the best. All right, so Orko, final thing here. That was not his original name. Do you know what his original name was?
No.
Gorpo.
Glad they went with Orko.
Gorpo. And do you know why they changed it?
Because it sounded really dumb.
Yeah, it sounds silly, but in all honesty, they were going to have a G. Like, you know how there's an O on his shirt?
Yeah.
They were going to have a G, but the animators, they were like, that's going to be too difficult. It's going to cost us too much money. It was easier to animate with it being the symmetrical O.
That makes sense. Well, I have a fact for you about He-Man also.
Fire
Did you know
away,
that
sir.
He-Man was not going to be the original toy?
Who was going to be the original toy?
Main person of the cartoon.
Who
It was
was?
going to be a guy named Hero.
Like Gyro? Hero?
Like Lamb Hero.
He was a lamb. And he didn't have a battle cat, he had a lamb.
He had a lamb and a chicken, and a free-range chicken.
And they ate spinning cone meat.
Sounds great. Hero as in HE-RO.
Interesting. But was it the same character?
No. Well, I think originally it was going to be. They kept the Hero character, though, as part of the lore. Hero became actually the first protector of Eternia.
Mm-hmm.
And also became He-Man's father.
Ah. And did you know that He-Man is not completely Eternian?
He's I think he's part Moroccan also.
Well, I mean,
was
it actually from Morocco? His I just know that his mom was from Earth. His mom's human.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
My name's Alan. I just make stuff up.
Like I could have said she's Russian.
See, now I can't trust your hero comment because you're completely guessing on this.
Am I making it up, or is it fact?
No, it's a fact. If Alan says it, it's a fact.
I was going to say, we could just say, why don't you comment?
Okay, comment whether or not you think Alan's full of shit.